One huge problem that students have in learning mathematics is when they miss class. Now, sometimes they miss class because of illness. Sometimes they may miss class because they're involved in athletics. If you have a 3-hour class and you miss the class, that's basically a week's worth of material you've lost. These lectures, their first purpose is if you miss class for some reason, then this allows you to have an additional resource to go off and watch the lectures. These are complete lectures of the section, so they're not a modified version. They're not just showing you a few examples, but they're the entire lecture you would see in a class. The 3-hour classes that I had mentioned, again, that's critical if they miss that. Some students are involved in athletics, and again, they may miss a lot of classes depending upon how well they do in their individual sport. And again, that's for many that they miss those, then they get way behind in math, and there's no way to get caught up. I remember one semester I had a basketball player, and horrible at math. Horrible. He's getting 20s on his tests, and I'd grade his test, and I just shake my head, and I think this guy's got to be the worst I've ever seen in mathematics. Well, he took my math class again in the summertime. Of course, he didn't successfully finish, but he took it again in the summertime, and he did fantastic. He got a B in the class. Had nothing to do with his skill in math. It had to do with the fact that he was so consumed with practice and games and so forth. So a lot of times you can't help that. So what this provides you is if you do miss class, this is a resource you can go to. Now, realize that every instructor teaches different. So if you watch these, it'll be slightly different than your individual instructor. Your best learning is to be done in the classroom. So if you can go to class, that's what you should do. Make every effort to get to class. Because you'll find that one instructor may be talking about a airplane method of factoring, and I may talk about the PSD method of factoring. So like I say, it's going to be kind of confusing. I've had students come in from tutoring, and they'd say, "Well, I went and saw the tutor, but I gave up. They were showing me a different way than you teach, and it was confusing me." Again, this is not to replace your individual instructor's lecture, because you'll find that again there's that mixture of different ways of showing things. But if you miss class and you have nothing else to resort to, you can either read the textbook, which might be okay if your instructor goes right along with that, or this allows you something to watch so you can learn it. For my own classes, if a student misses, I will not re-lecture. For a 3-hour class, it took me 3 hours the first time, and I'm not gonna spend 3 hours of my own time going over the material. And I don't think you'll find any instructor will do that. Occasionally, I have a student come up and they miss class, and this will be a 3-hour class, and I'll come up and 10 minutes before class, and can you recap what you went over last time? Just a few examples so I can see it. And it's like, no, I can't do that. And it looked at me kind of funny. I said, if I could jam 3 hours of material into 10 minutes, that'd be fantastic. We could leave after 10 minutes class each time. Can't do that. Took 3 hours the first time. It takes 3 hours the second time. So these videos help in that regard. Now, for my own students, they can go to class. These are the same problems I show in class, and then they can replay them over and over. But sometimes you don't catch what the person says. But again, do not use this as an excuse for missing your class, because you're going to find that there's different techniques shown, and it'll be a little bit confusing. But again, it's better than the book, so it's a step up from that, or randomly picking videos off of YouTube on the internet. Now, as you read through these, realize in that program you can rewind, so you can listen to it over and over. So there's a little bar down at the bottom, and you'll see it and be able to move it. There's some windows pop up over on the side, and you can close those. If you have IE, Internet Explorer, you're going to be fine. You can watch these. If you have Firefox, if you have Chrome, you're not going to have much luck. If you trying to think. There's another one, Safari. I'm not sure about Safari, but IE is your best bet, and I'm not quite sure why that is yet. But doesn't seem to work on those. It has nothing to do with web pages. They're just very basic web pages. But for some reason, it doesn't like our share server. Um, the files are very small. You will find they're kind of twangy, and the audio is not the greatest. And I'm happy with that because it keeps the movies really small. A whole hour worth of lecture could be about 80 megabyte. And if you know anything about computers, that's fantastic for size. And it looks really good. You can see the quality real good. It's vector-based graphics, but the audio is lacking. And again, that's a trade-off in order to have them the size they are. The reason why these lectures are out there is I don't have the best techniques. You'll find that every instructor has their own area where they excel at. So don't assume that these are the best lectures in the world, because they're not. Definitely not. I've always thought that I'd like to sit in on every instructor's class throughout the entire semester, auditing it or something, just so I can learn their techniques, learn where they're best at, and steal that. We hired an instructor recently, and I was very impressed with how he covered a particular topic in the interview. It made me realize that far beat my technique, how I wrote it. So I actually kind of stole a little bit of his when I'm doing it. So, but again, it's just an alternative, and that's actually all I have to say there.